Hey, beautiful people. So I'm gonna multitask because the day is slipping by quickly. I'm trying to update my computer and a whole lot of stuff before I have to go to bed. So just forgive me, please. This is two videos back to back, and so I'm doing this video right now because a young lady contacted me who wants some help. And so before I start any kind of coaching work, I always kind of ask some background information. And in working with adoptees, I think one thing that is really important to know is what kind of adoptee support system you have. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about why, as you are coming out of the fog, as you are healing the primal wound, why it is essential to not only have a couple of adoptee friends, but to have a support group. So I will say that when I began this process, I was very reluctant. I have been part of previously, I have been part of an adoptee group, and it was absolutely overwhelming. Sorry. Sorry, just doing updates on my computer. So it was absolutely overwhelming. And it was a lot of people doing something called trauma dumping. And these are groups that aren't moderated very well. There aren't very strict guidelines, and people are doing just that. They're trauma dumping, and for me and for those who are highly empathic, it's just not a healthy situation. So when I had heard adoption informed therapists, other adoptee therapists speak about needing adoptee support, I was very resistant. So that was years ago that I was in an adoptee group. And then once I began my coming out of the fog journey, I joined a transracial adoptee group that was really big, and it was overwhelming, largely aggressive, I felt. Really angry, as we can be. we can be very aggressive. We can be, adoptees can be very aggressive. So it wasn't good for me. They were not good situations for me. So I left that group as well. So in searching for a therapist, I read a book by Joe Soul, a therapist that I tried some time with that it didn't work out. But he does have a really good, decent book on preparing for reunion. And in his book, he talks about how important it is to have an adoptee support group and adoptee friends. Again, I met this with a great deal of resistance. I don't have a lot of friends. I have a hard time making and keeping friends because I feel like I'm very unusual and people don't understand me very well. Again, in adoptee communities, I found that people were very angry, maybe not necessarily doing the work to heal, and they just wanted to kind of trauma dump on people. And I will put out there that I have had 2 failed attempts at adoptee connections. So I'm not without failure in this arena myself. However, I have found 2 adoptee groups where I do fit in well, and I have my own adoptee group, Transracial Adoptees Unite on Facebook. I'm also a member of 2 other adoptee groups, one for adoptees of color and another one for adoptees who have cut ties to either one of their families. So these are smaller groups. I feel safer there. One is very tightly moderated, and the other one is just largely quiet. I am able to voice how I'm feeling and what's going on with me there without any real problems. I don't have any real problems with sharing how I'm feeling there, and I appreciate that. Being in the group for adoptees of color, I was able to find, so when I was in the transracial adoptee group, I was able to find another biracial transracial adoptee who has become a very, very dear friend and a lifeline for me. Being in the other 2 groups, I found another transracial friend. She is not biracial and she's not Black, but she's still amazing. She is an adoptee therapist and I love her. So these are my 2 adoptee friends and I love them so much. And they have been pivotal in this journey. I can't even express it enough. I was able to find an adoptee support group in one of these groups. I cannot put words to it. So when I found my first support group meeting, I had one failed therapy attempt, and then I had found another therapist who basically told me I was racist. And so I was really struggling. I was newly coming out of the fog. It was really hard. Like, I was very weepy. I was crying a lot, and I had just started the real intense adoptee research, like the primal wound and and the girls that went away, and I was just in a really bad place, and I was one of the first ones that talked, and I cried. I was very uncomfortable in the group, and the level of support, words really just can't put into. So the group is led by a social worker who is also an adoptee of color, and the level of support provided in the group is just, I can't put it into words. I really can't. I can't put it into words. The relief that I felt after the group, even though I was not the only one who had deep things to say. Other people had deep things to say, and I cried with them. But even after, and I was very apprehensive of attending this meeting, but afterwards, the level of relief that I felt after, if I was at a 3 to begin with, I was at a 10 when I left. It was absolutely life-changing. And I'm sad we only meet once a month. After the second meeting, I had grown and changed so much. I keep looking at my computer because I'm hoping that my updates are downloading. The level with which I've changed and grown just from 1 month to the next, and I wish we met every week. I'm considering starting a group for transracial adoptees because that meets weekly because I just need it. I do. I just need it. I need it. So I was very apprehensive. So this new adoptee who wants to work with me says that she's apprehensive because she is also highly empathic and she just soaks up the energy, and I understand that. So let me express to you another reason why I think that it's very important to sorry, can't see, I'm blind. So So let me give you an example of another reason why I think it's really important to have an adoptee community. This weekend, my partner, um, canceled our date night to go out. And my reaction was terrifying. It was. My reaction was terrifying. He was terrified. I was terrified. I became very destructive. Um, and then as I began to come down, I was very hard on myself. And I was questioning myself of why I regressed that way after I had done all this work. Like, I've done all this work. How am I still in this place after I've done all this work? Why am I still having these kind of very destructive reactions even after I've done all this work? I was being very hard on myself, which is unusual because I'm pretty gentle with myself. It is not, I don't think that I would have been able to come out of the way that I was beating myself up for this reaction without the support of my biracial, transracial adoptee friend. Without her empathy for where I was at, and not just her empathy, just nix that, not just her empathy, her complete understanding and being able to relate so completely. And for her to be able to call words to how I was feeling, that abandonment. I was feeling abandoned. For her to say, I felt like it was life or death. For her to put words that I've studied this stuff and I knew what it was, but because I was still, even though I had come out of that moment, I was still too much in it to be able to see it clearly. And without her help, I would not have been able to do that, I don't think. And because of her understanding and her insight into the situation, I was able to make a more rational compromise with my partner and even share with him what was going on inside of me in that moment to help him have empathy for me, because he can't understand it, because he's not an adoptee. He can't understand it. So while I understand the resistance that you may have to having an adoptee or two as friends and being part of an adoptee support group, I am going to reiterate what all the good adoptee therapists have said, and kind of what all of those of us moving towards a healing or more healthy place in the adoptee community know. You need a community of adoptees. No, you don't have to be in a place where people are trauma dumping. You don't. You have to be very selective. But you do need one or two really good adoptee friends, and you do need a support group. You just do. Whoever you reach out to for help, your therapist or a coach or whatever, cannot be that to you. They serve a different role. You need one or two adoptee friends that are also moving in the same direction that you are, who you can bounce stuff off of, so that you know that you're not crazy, so that you know you're not losing your mind. And the support group is just invaluable. We as adoptees have a strong tendency to isolate ourselves and isolate ourselves from our community. And for us, our community is invaluable in our healing process. So I just kind of have to leave it at that. You can be resistant to it if you want, and you can resist it for as long as you like, but you're not ever going to be in a place where you get the support that you need and the understanding that you crave if you don't take the risk of finding some adoptees who understand you. I had a Korean adoptee who reached out to me, who expressed right from the beginning that she didn't like Black people, and that and that she thought that she used to hate Black people, and they treated her really badly. And so I'm not really sure why she reached out to me. But so that ended really quickly. She ended up blocking me after we met one time for coffee. And then I met another transracial adoptee who uh, is newly coming out of the colonialized mindset. So I'm really, really angry. Her anger is kind of palpable. So we weren't a very good fit. But you kind of have to just keep, and it's 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 always a bigger risk for us, because losing people and getting rejected is so major. But again, I can't say how invaluable it is to have those connections in your life. So I'm just going to leave it there at that. There's no need to keep beating a dead horse. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So like I said, you can be empathic, choose wisely. There is a group out there for everyone. There is someone out there for everyone. Yes, the older, I'm 42, the older we get, it gets harder, it gets to make friends, but there's somebody out there that you can connect with who understands you, and it's imperative for your healing. So until next time, I'm Kamina the Koach, sending you love, light, peace, and joy, and I'll see you next time. Peace.